Hi, I'm Terry from EverydaySober.com. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I've recovered from the seemingly hopeless state of mind and body that alcoholism causes. I remember when I was still drinking, I always wondered what my life would be like when I quit drinking. I figured life would be boring and glum. You know, the funny thing is towards the end of my drinking, my typical day basically involved me, a TV, a giant bottle of booze, and complete isolation. And I actually thought my life was okay. Now, I'm the first to admit that my sober life is not necessarily the super exciting life that some people may lead. But for me, my life is incredible. I'm happy, I have a great wife, great pets, my bills are paid, I have a nice home, and most importantly, I'm free from the grips of alcohol. However, I must remember on a daily basis that I still have a disease that's in me, so I need to do things to keep it in check. So, during my typical day, I do certain things to help me with my sobriety. I always wondered what a sober person does all day. Well, here's what my typical day is like. So, we'll start from the beginning. When I wake up, I make coffee and I sit quietly. I think about the things I'm grateful for, like waking up sober one more day, or having a nice healthy family. I even think about little things I'm grateful for, like not waking up with a hangover, or simply having the power and the tools to not drink today. Then I think about the day ahead. What do I need to do today? Does anything I have to do put my sobriety in danger? Am I working? I'm a caterer and there's always alcohol available. Am I going out where alcohol will be served? Do I need to apologize to anyone for something I may have done? Have I overplanned this day and need to put some of the not as important things off until tomorrow? Am I keeping it simple? I have to make sure I have a balance between staying busy and not being overwhelmed. I need to get things done, but it's okay to not get everything done at once. I make sure I remember that sobriety is the most important thing today, and that I must do something towards my sobriety every day. Now, for me, I usually go to a 12-step meeting. So when am I going to go? It's not whether I want to go or not. It's just plainly what I do. I mean, think about it. I spent 24 hours a day making sure that I always had alcohol. So what's 1 hour a day working towards sobriety? Now, I understand 12-step meetings are not for everyone, but it's what's worked for me. The important thing is that not necessarily going to a 12-step meeting, it's that one does something for sobriety. I also try to help fellow alcoholics that may be in need. Somehow, helping other alcoholics does wonders to help me with my sobriety. Now, after I've figured out my day, I eat breakfast. This is important. It's important to not be hungry, especially in early sobriety. Hunger can trigger cravings. Next, I go for a hike with my dogs. My dogs are huge in my sobriety. They make me accountable because I have to walk them. They're always happy and loving, which is also an added bonus. They get me out for exercise, which is also very important. It gets me to socialize with normal people and get some productive thinking done. I then take care of chores. Keeping my house in order is also very important. Cleaning a little each day makes everything in life so much easier to keep organized. And for me, being organized helps my sobriety immensely by giving me something to do and giving me a sense of purpose and accomplishment. After that, I usually go to a 12 noon meeting. I go early so I have a chance to socialize and talk about sobriety. I mean, these are my people. They understand me, I understand them. In a way, normal people, they just don't. During the meeting, I listen. I listen to things I can relate to or things that might help me get through life. I learn almost every day from the people in the meetings. People with 40 plus years of sobriety to people with only 2 days of sobriety. Everyone can have something very valuable to contribute. If I have something to say, I make sure I speak up. It may help someone. Sharing in a meeting not only keeps me thinking about sobriety, it also helps me practice my speaking skills in front of other people. Recovery meetings are a great place to practice, since it's a place where people are much less likely to pass judgment on what you say. So, when the meeting's over, I usually stay and I socialize for a few minutes. After my meeting, I usually either go on a bike ride or I go to work. Cycling is my passion, and you might want to figure out your passion so you can do a similar type of thing. But cycling's my mini vacation for many days of the week. When I work, I need to be careful as I'm in catering, and we cater at a lot of bars. Now, I'm blessed to be able to work with other sober people, so we help each other by keeping each other accountable at our sobriety. Almost every event I cater, the bartender asks me if I want a cocktail. This used to bother me, but now I usually just ask for something nice that's non-alcoholic, like a sparkling water with cranberry juice and a splash of grapefruit. It may be hard to believe, at least it was for me, but the bartender and no one else cares if there's alcohol in my drink or not. When my day is winding down, I make sure I have time to sit quietly and go over my day. Once again, I make a gratitude list. I make sure I realize how grateful I am for remaining sober one more day. I also reflect on the day. What went well? What didn't? Do I need to make amends for something I did? It's important for my sobriety to take a daily inventory of things and take care of any issues that I may have caused. I then go over the things I have to do tomorrow. This allows me to start tomorrow with a plan. Next, I make sure I go to bed with enough time to sleep. Sleep is very important to help with sobriety. It helps lower stress and anxiety. My typical day involves several things. First of all, my thinking. I try to keep things simple. I try to do things that remind me about sobriety. I apologize to people if I have wronged them. I try to do things that are good for my mind and my body. Secondly, my physical. I try to get lots of exercise. I make sure I don't get hungry. I make sure I get plenty of sleep. And finally, I make sure I don't get lonely or isolate too much. When I was deep in my alcohol abuse, I isolated. I drove everyone out of my life. I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I try to get out and socialize. Now, the most important thing I have to remember is don't drink, no matter what. Now, the way I live isn't about avoiding alcohol and anything related to alcohol. I think that's an impossible task. But by keeping things simple, staying busy, avoiding stressful and dangerous situations, and trying to stay happy and grateful, they seem to work. For some, my typical day, it may seem kind of mundane. But for me, keeping things simple and stress-free are some of the keys to a happy, serene, and successful sobriety that I've achieved so far. I use these tools constantly, and that's how I spend every day sober. There's a disease in me that's waiting to wake up, and I'm one drink away from that happening. So I make sobriety a top priority in my life, for doing these things daily is part of what I do to stay sober. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for many other tools for a successful sobriety. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Leave me a comment below so I can get your perspective or maybe your struggles you might be having with sobriety. Also, check out my website, everydaysober.com, for many more videos and tools for getting sober and staying sober, living a full, happy, and sober life. I'm Terry, and thank you so much for letting me share my typical day in sobriety with you.